all those people that come into our lives, all those times we judge. Sometimes it's automatic, we don't even realize it. Who am I to you? When I lose my way, when I forget my name, when I'm in the loneliest place, remind me who I am, because I've forgotten. Beloved, last Sunday, I said the way to transform from the person that I am now to the person I'm meant to be is by practicing non-judgment, non-resistance, and acceptance. And after the service, someone came up and said, you know, I'd like to hear a talk on each one of those subjects. So today's talk is, who am I to you? And it's about non-judgment. When someone is lost, when they lose their way, do I remind them who they are? That they are beloved? Do I remember to see the Christ in them? Beyond what's being said about them, beyond their behavior, how they're showing up, do I remember to look past that, or do I judge? A friend of mine shared with me this week that someone in their life is always talking to them about their religion, and that their religion is the only way to be saved. Now, my friend and I have shared a spiritual journey for a long time, and we have an agreement with each other to remind each other when we find ourselves in situations. My friend said to me, you know, I listen, and sometimes I just can't help saying something. So this individual is a challenge in their life. And I said to them, so who has this person? What has this person come here to teach you? And my friend said, thank you for calling me on it, because that's what we do for each other. We remind each other when one of us forgets. Everyone in our life and every situation comes to teach us, comes to help us to grow into what we came here to be. It's hard, isn't it? Especially when you don't like what's showing up. But what is it here to teach me? What is it here to bring me into the person I'm meant to be? Because I can be greater than who I am right now. You ever notice how easy and how fast you jump into judgment? What about when that guy pulls out in front of you? Where do we go in that moment? Do we see the beloved? No. We judge by the way people look, the way people dress, their type of job, their material possessions, their intelligence, their education, their race, their nationality, their religion, their weight, their age, their spouse, their kids, their pets, their house, their yard, their dog, their car, everything, right? We're so good at it. You know, we learn judgment from the time we're born. The first thing we're taught is what's me and what's not me, right? We have to learn that. But what happens is that identity becomes my story. It becomes who I am in the world, who I am to you, who you are to me. And you know what? It's my ego that makes all of that up. So I come in as pure this little child. And then I get an identity. And then I start adding to that identity. And I start making judgments around it. So this is a true story. In Zurich, the train collector was going through the train. How many of you traveled in Europe on the trains? It's an interesting experience, isn't it? Yeah. So the train collector was going through, and they go through, they check the tickets. And he's checking all the tickets. And every time he checked a ticket, he was becoming more and more upset. And finally, he couldn't contain himself, and he went to the loudspeaker and he said, "Attention! At the next stop, everyone get off the train. You're all on the wrong train." And then as people were confused and milling around, he happened to look at a sheet and realized he was the one on the wrong train. We do that, don't we? My story, my judgment, I'm right, you're wrong. If you look, think, see, and do things differently than me, you're wrong. The Bible says, "Judge not that you may not be judged." Judge not that you may not be judged. Because judging another person is saying a lot about me, isn't it? We've got a video. Is that video up? And she's so into the talk she forgot where she was. I saw this video quite some time ago, and I put it aside because I knew it was something that I wanted you all to see. Turn the lights down, please.
That kid, every time I'm pulling out, he's right there. Man, someone needs to talk to his parents, if they're ever at home. What is up with the traffic today? It's always, every day, this intersection's always crowded. I hate pulling out of here. We need some of these dumb roads. Oh, there's... Oh. Okay, so I'm not even here. Right. Great lady. The princess of parking. Oh, sure. Take the spot. Way to be considerate. Oh... Kidding me? Unbelievable. Oh.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
It's about time. Let's see, what do I want?
Yeah, could I add a cookie to that order?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no problem, only guy in the world. I'm sure you need your cookie. The world, your oyster, and he's serving your cookie.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you so much.
What can I get for you?
Yeah, I'll have a tall decaf macchiato.
Yeah, sure, no problem. For $3.85. And it might take a few minutes here. We've got quite a line, obviously, and thanks for your patience.
Great. Yeah, great. Great for me. Winning again. Unbelievable. What? What is... What is that? What in the world? Oh, what? What am I supposed to do? How can I do anything about that? Can I even help with that? I don't...
Your coffee, sir.
Oh. I can't take this anymore. I gotta get out of here.
Hey, watch it.
Sorry, so sorry.
Hey, buddy, come here.
See yourself up there a little bit? Jesus said, "Why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but do not notice the log in your own?" Our anger, our prejudice, our impatience, they're not statements about the other person. They're statements about me. Maybe that person just needs a hug. How long have you been trying to fix your spouse, your partner, your child, your friend, your coworker, giving them advice that's for their own good? Everyone we encounter serves us. Everyone. Some of them bring us joy. Others challenge us to find clarity within ourselves. Whenever I blame someone, make my bad day their fault. That's what he was doing, wasn't he? Making his bad day their fault. The problem is with me, not with them. It's the story I'm making up. Did you see how he made up stories about each one of those people? I've forgotten who they are. Beloved, I've forgotten to see the Christ in them, that spark of a divinity that's in each and every one of us. My judgment is based on how I identify myself, how I've made up my history, what I've written in my mind, the stories I've written in my mind. Thoughts that come from what Uncle Ed did to me when I was 13. Thoughts about the company I used to work for that let me go. Thoughts about the marriage that didn't work for me. Thoughts about how other people judged me. We base our judgments on our past experience. It becomes a way of seeing. And a lot of it is learned from the time we were a child. My mother's family is Italian. My grandparents came from Italy. And at the time, and in the area they lived, there was a lot of prejudice against Italian people. Several years ago, I was visiting my mother, and I walked in, and her brother, my uncle, was there visiting with her. And I walked in, and I heard my uncle using the same type of prejudice that was used towards him, toward another ethnic group. And I was stunned, because he hadn't learned. He had learned the judgment. And so he continues to live his life in judgment. Religion, spirituality is not just for Sunday morning. We call unity practical Christianity. It's for every day. It's for every moment. We have to be brave enough to walk the talk. So the person that came up to me and said they'd like to hear about all these things said, "I don't want to hear the intellectual stuff. I want to hear how to do it." So here's how we do it. Here's how we learn to see the beloved. The first thing we do is we become the observer. Monitor your thinking. Pay attention. Don't go on automatic. Notice when you start to judge someone. When that person cuts you off, notice that judgment. Don't resist it, but notice it. As soon as I label something good or bad, I'm judging, aren't I? As soon as I put a label on it, I'm judging. And when you judge, I want you to do something. When you catch yourself judging, I want you to do something. I want you to notice where you feel it in your body. Notice if any place inside you tightens up. Notice where you're starting to create dis-ease in your body. Because our thoughts become part of who we are. Number 2, First we observe, and then we become present. What's actually happening? Now, if that man had become present, he would have just been in what was happening, right? He wouldn't have been making more of it. And then ask yourself, if someone's talking to you and you're judging them, say, am I really listening? Am I really hearing that person, or have I got all these other thoughts? How often do you really listen? Or am I thinking about what I'm going to say, or am I thinking about my judgments? Am I listening to that person? See, my friend, when this person was going on and on about their religion and how they needed to be saved, went into judgment. Stopped really listening. What if he just reached over and hugged this person? Just let this person know they were loved. No, you can't do that with everyone, but you can listen in that place of awareness. You can listen. You can drop into your heart space and listen from there. When I listen from my heart space, the other person eventually feels it. You feel that stillness. You feel that love coming from that person. You feel yourself not being judged. Become present in the moment and get out of the story I've been telling myself in my head. And number 3 is look for something positive in the person or the situation. You've all heard about the Malaysia airline this week. I listened to President Obama, and I heard him mention the 100 researchers. They were on their way to an international conference in Australia dedicated to combating AIDS. And I love that in the middle of this talk that he had to come up and say something about, he said this: these were people focused on what can be built rather than destroyed, who define themselves not by what makes them different from others, but by the humanity that we hold in common. Even in the horrible things that happen, we can find the positive to say. We can find the good to say. When I judge someone as bad, I feel bad. I don't feel good inside. I strengthen my ego. I create separation. I keep myself trapped. And I keep myself suffering. Last Sunday we talked about 3 things we can do, 3 tools for non-judgment. You're all writing like crazy, so we've got cards made up and they're out in the front foyer. I'm going to put them up again, Kim. So if you, at the end of your day, just stop and go, wow, I did a lot of judging today. Or maybe one thing, or you really got one thing that's really hanging on you judged. So you take this card and you sit down with it and you go, okay, why am I feeling like this? What's making me judge? What is the source of this feeling? Maybe like my uncle, it went all the way back to childhood when he had been judged. What inside of me is causing me to feel this way? I can tell you what, it's not love. So these cards are on the table in front for you. Pick them up, take them home, use them as a tool to go deeper under your judgment. Practicing awareness, using these tools, we can gradually dissolve our judgmental mind. Little by little. Judgment is a big thing. It has a big hold over us. And we start to realize, when we start to realize that my peace has nothing to do with you. My peace does not depend on anyone else. My peace depends on me. So no matter what's going on in my life or in the world, I'm in charge of my peace. I'm that powerful. We're all that powerful. Everyone we meet is an opportunity to practice compassion, kindness, and unconditional love. In unity, we follow the teachings of Jesus. And what did he show us? Over and over and over again. Compassion, kindness, unconditional love, no matter what. This has taken it out of the church, out of this room, and into my life. So this week, I invite you to choose to be a love finder, not a fault finder. And you're going to do that. Let's put those 3 things up. By becoming the observer, then becoming present, and then looking for something positive. So Kim and I spent a lot of time on these little cards for you today. And they're a pair of glasses. And over the glass it says, "Who am I to you?" And in the glasses it says, "Beloved." So you can stick this in your car, on your dashboard. And as soon as you go into judgment, ask yourself, who am I to you? Beloved. And on the back we've put what the Dalai Lama said about judgment. Love is the absence of judgment. And so these will be handed out after my talk for you. This week, here's your challenge. Whenever you find yourself judging, see if you can see that person as beloved. God bless you.